就希腊运动。
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Finally.
Hi. It's really a question that I want people to ask themselves and ask others. Is such and such wealthy individual, what has he done? There's a lot of money in Greece that isn't coming to bear for the purpose of relief. And part of the excuses I can understand, because they don't want to support a government that has, or a system that has a weak social contract. But other elements, I think people should gather around and be patriots rather than look to be citizens. The world was experiencing a lot of interesting phenomena, one of which was the Arab Spring, and the other one, which is a little less well known, was the Israeli cottage cheese movement. It's really the power of social media that allows people to organize coherently and very quickly in an almost costless manner. And really the changes that were affected were quite remarkable. So I started thinking about the use of social media and the use of, I guess, citizen actions as it relates to sovereign debt crisis. Greeks are very good patriots, an extremely patriotic race globally, and yet Greeks have an ambiguous relationship to their government. So while they love Greece, they don't necessarily love the government, regardless of which one it is, left or right. So in dealing with a sovereign debt crisis at which the government is perceived to be part of the cause, as well as other elements, I really had to think about how citizens or people would relate to whatever vehicle you were proposing should help address the issue. So what I felt was more appropriate was essentially to create a non-governmental organization.
Greece Debt Free is a movement for a better Greece. It's a social media and internet platform to help people organize.
The debt per capita burden in Greece is about 30,000 euros. And these 30,000 euros of Greek government debt obligations are trading at about 3,200 euros. So you can buy 30,000 euros of debt obligations in the market, in the secondary market, for about 3,200. So when you look at it from that perspective, you can maybe consider the Greek people as heavily indebted with the 30,000 euros, but actually the price of them buying their own debt is only about 3,200 euros, which looks to me like an incredible deal. So Greece Debt Free was founded around that tenet. So the idea was that we create a charity whose purpose was principally to buy Greek government bonds. So you can vote here. So you pick one of the brands of yogurt, you vote, or you can share it. You can share your vote with friends. And then one of the other things you can do is you can donate online, which is very cool. And then there was a question of where do we domicile this vehicle. So the US was chosen for two reasons. One is that it's one of the safest jurisdictions, and two is that it offers something really quite remarkable, which is that if people donate to Greece Debt Free for its purpose, they actually get a 30% tax deduction. And essentially what happens is that you can give $100 as a US citizen. You'll be giving $100, but you'll get a tax deduction, so it'll only cost you about $70. Then Greece Debt Free goes into the market with that $100 that cost you $70, and it goes and buys Greek government bonds that are trading at a discount. So that $100 can then buy, in the market, Greek government debt obligations that are trading at about $900 or $1,000.
Well, for you personally, are you optimistic that Greece is going to survive this crisis?
Look, Greece has been through much worse. So, I mean, let's put it in perspective. You have 1923-24, where there's 1.5 million refugees arriving from Asia Minor. There's a typhoid epidemic that kills 2% of the population. Greece had just come in from successive wars and was much more bankrupt than it is now. I don't think Greece is going to exit the Eurozone. I think there's what I illustrated before, in that there's still a very strong local currency. What's bizarre is that there's been no run on the banks in Greece. It's not that bizarre because the ECB has been pumping the Greek banks full of liquidity. But I think that what's happening is that the foreign lenders, the troika, so to speak, are essentially engaging in a game of brinkmanship, trying to force changes in Greece, and just hope that they don't kill the patient in the process. The Greek debt crisis affects a lot of people, a lot of non-Greeks in its own way. And a lot of the people who I've been speaking to have said to me, we'd love to help Greece, but I just don't know how. And what could be easier than pulling out your credit card and giving a quick donation? And the idea is that if you conquer the debt, you own the future. You can de-indebt yourself. You are no longer slaves to the debt.
但是最大的问题就是呢，这些所谓希腊社会的金字塔顶端，他们人都不在希腊，而是在欧洲其他国家，甚至美国。问他们为什么不回来这里，他们说，因为实在没有办法信任任何政府机构，因此不敢贸然的把生意带回这边来造福希腊人群。因此呢，他们只好透过像这样子慈善机构的方式，间接的来协助他们的国家。
欧债危机会直接影响你的荷包吗？最直接受影响的就是购买债券基金、投资型保单或参加退休金计划的民众，会因为他们所间接投资的欧债价格下跌而蒙受亏损。2011年在欧债风暴中，台湾退抚基金、劳保基金都因此亏损不少，等于让这些基金照顾的退休人士受害。